All right, thank you for logging in or clicking on this link. If you're here, that means you probably need some information about the IB career related program at Maynard Jackson High School. My name is Dr. King. I coordinate the diploma program, the IB career related program or CP, and our advanced placement program here at Maynard Jackson. And we made this video particularly for students to learn how to record their service learning and their language development portion for the CP. We made a video a few months ago for the DP students, the diploma program students, about their CAS, creativity, action, and service. So for the CP students, we want to make a similar video to kind of illustrate how to record the service activities and the language development piece when it comes to CP. So I have a Google screen just pulled up just so I can show you a couple of ways to get to these resources. So you can just type in Maynard Jackson High School and you'll go to our school website. Just click on the link. And so this is our school website. Now it's in the not too distant future, it should be getting updated, but it still should have the same information. But for now, just go to academics, scroll down to International Baccalaureate here. And then, so this is basically our IB website for the school. It's our IB school website. So it has all of our programs. As a matter of fact, it has middle years, career related, and diploma program here. But and it has a lot of information that you will probably find useful. But for today, we're going to focus on career related information. So as you probably know, there's IB courses that you take, but the core, these are the things that are part of the program, but they aren't part of a particular class, at least for the most part. Now, there's the reflective project, there's a service learning component, there's a language development component, and then there's also personal professional skills or PPS class. Now, the reflective project is usually done in the PPS class, so the teacher will usually kind of walk you through that a little bit more. But for today, the main point is to discuss how to record that service learning and the language development. So you can click on service learning here, and this basically gives an outline of what it is. Basically, as it says, it's basically the practical application of knowledge and skills towards meeting an identified community need, or another way to put it is a minimum of 50 hours devoted to service learning. So they have 4 different types of service listed here: direct service, indirect, advocacy, and research. So it's a wide range of things you can do for any of these. And this list is just examples. So there's plenty of things that you can decide on your own to do, but this just gives you an idea of how wide ranging the things are. So it has, like, for example, coach children in sports, deliver meals to people living with a mental condition, play music for elders in exchange for skills, distribute at a plant-based farmers market, establish a recycling program, prepare signage for a local walking trail, make dog biscuits for an animal shelter, create a photograph exhibit about poverty in Atlanta. Then for advocacy, we have lead a town hall about a cause that you were interested in. Provide reusable water bottles to replace single-use water bottles. So these are all just some examples. For research service, we have assist with a citywide need and focus on make a focus group to address that need. Prepare a public service outreach process for local veterans. Learn about the history of people buried at Oakland Cemetery, for example, which is near the school. So these are all some things you can do. Now, on the bottom where it has IBCP Service Learning Guide, that's the official document from IB with all the details about service learning. And it's a thorough document. So I'm not going to click on it right now because I don't want to get too deep into the weeds. But if you do want to take a deep dive into service learning, then that link would have a guide with a bunch of information from IB about it. So the next question people may have is, well, how do I record it? How do I record that service that I do? So in that case, you go to additional resources here. And you have a lot of different things here, but right now we're going to manage back. So manage back is where you would do that. That's for DP and for CP. So DP record their CAS and everything, their creativity, activity, service requirement in manage back, but also so do the CP students as well. So I made my own account here. So I'm gonna go to it. This might not look the same as your screen, but in a minute I'll show you how it should look in just a moment. So All right, so when you first log in to your managed back, this side will be a little different. It should say dashboard um, on it, but then should have task and deadlines, portfolio. But under academics, it'll probably have a part that says IB manager. And if you click on IB manager, it'll go to a screen like this. So I'm still on my, even though I have a student account, it's kind of the teacher side of things. So, or I guess that the administration side of things. So, everything else would be the same, but the stuff on the sidelines here and on this side might be a little bit different. But either way, you'll be in the screen like this. So you notice we'll have several boxes on top. It'll have SL for service learning, reflective project, language portfolio, messages, calendar, files, and so on and so forth. Now, if you scroll down, it tells you information about service learning, the different categories I mentioned. It also has like some different quick guides to tell you how to get started or what are some different activities you can do, how to create a portfolio. And that's all good, but it's not quite what we're focusing on right this moment. So if you go right up to the top where it has add service, go ahead and click right there. And so I'm going to type in an example. So now a service learning project versus SL project, that is a ongoing endeavor that requires multiple steps, perhaps multiple people, where everybody's playing a particular role. So it's not quite as simple as just going out and, let's say, feeding the homeless or creating a recycling, recycling materials or something like that. This is the actual project where it takes time and planning and effort, and you and a few of your peers put it together. So if that's something that we're open to that, but that's something that you want to do, you would just check that and describe what that type of project is. But feeding the homeless is not quite that type of thing, as long as it's a one-time endeavor. But there are plenty of things that people can do for the school, or not even for the school, just in your own community, that's a part of a larger cause. Then that would be a SL project or a service learning project. But just for the example of feeding the homeless, I'm going to put it's a local approach. I'm going to say community-based, just to kind of, keep it simple. Now, this is where you would have the different types of hours. So let's say, for example, it was actually 5 hours of actually serving the homeless, let's say, for example. Let's say you prepared your own food. Let's say you took 2 hours of indirect service, preparing everything for that direct service. If you want to, you can say, let's say you spend an hour doing research to figure out which communities to go to and the people who live there and who has the most need and that kind of thing. So that's an example of just how you will put certain hours in. So even though it's one activity, it's 8 hours listed. And so as you do more things, it'll be more hours for the different types of activities that you do. But they want it to be specific. They want to say what the thing is and what category or categories it falls into, and then the different hours for each component. Now, for your supervisor, that's the person who's actually over the initiative. So the person who helps you, or the person who actually started the endeavor, or who's the leader of the service, that's who that will be, or at least the person who's over you, or who let you know what to do. I just put a title here. I put outreach coordinator, but it could be anybody. It could be a community organizer, your club sponsor, maybe even a teacher in a school that you're working with a teacher. It could be somebody in your church, or whatever the group is. That's the person who is running that activity. That's who that person would be. I'll put an email address here. Now, of course, Joy Helper is not a real email address, but that's just the person's email address would go there, and their phone number. And this is actually my number, though. So if you need to contact me, that's the number where I can be reached. So for descriptions and goals, it has created and organized an initiative to prepare and deliver 100 meals to homeless people in downtown Atlanta with the Atlanta mission. The goal of this activity is to so on and so forth. So this is really short for example purposes, but really yours should be at least 100 to 300 words where you're actually giving, detail about, what you did, what was your role, how did you do it, what were the goals, were those goals met? And so it's a pretty thorough reflection on what exactly happened during that service project or that service activity. So for learning outcomes down here, you would just put the things that are relevant. Like, for example, let's say that you collaborated with others and improved your collaborative skills. Let's say you participated in a group endeavor, or you might even say that you grew or gained some strength in working with other people, or dealing with a certain service you haven't done before, just a way that you've grown or developed throughout the experience. These are all examples of things you can put. So once you click add service, all right, that's in there. So all the information is still up here. This is that description that I mentioned where it'll be way more thorough, but still it'll be up here for you. It has the 8 hours that you have so far. The outcomes are here where it has participation, collaborative skills, and so on and so forth. Now, for the one here, that's there because it's only one activity so far. So, but as time goes by, that number will increase the more you go. Now, where it has hours progress, that just basically means how many hours you've done so far. Now for service learning, it's 50 hours in all. So here it has 16%. So as time goes by, you'll see a color-coded chart showing you how far you're going to reach in those hours. And it'll be broken down by direct service, indirect service, advocacy, research, and so on and so forth. So that's there for you, already built into ManageBag. Then it has the timeline where it has the dates. So as time goes by, you can see the various dates overlapping with the different types of service over time. And so that's all built into the system as well. Now, if you scroll down somewhere, it has additional documents. That's where you can add pictures or brochures or agendas or anything that might pertain to what you've done, maybe a flyer perhaps, or, just any kind of documents you want to add. Now down here, I learned a lot, but basically you will put any kind of notes that you would send to me. Anything you put down in the notes, that will actually go to my ManageBag. So if you have any questions or want any feedback, you can put some information there, and we can actually have a dialogue between each other, about the service if you so chose. So that's one thing. Now, the stuff on this end, this is stuff that you probably won't see. It's probably on my end of the computer and not yours. But you see how, for example, where it has excellent, on track, concern, and to be determined, the overall progress. These are things that I can add in the system for you to see as we check. So maybe once a month or so, I might go in there to see how everybody's doing and see if you're actually recording that service. And, and let's say you haven't at all over the course of time, I might say it's a concern. If everything seems on track, I can put that feedback in there for you. Or if it's excellent, I can say that as well. Down here, archive services, those are things in the past from the previous years, so that doesn't pertain to you all. But the generate reports, that's what we send the counselors. So once everything is said and done, it's toward the end of your senior year, you're getting, wrapping up, getting ready for graduation, and we can basically print a report of all the service learning you've done over junior and senior year. And we send it to the counselors, and that's what counts for your high school graduation requirement. Now, there are, it's 75 hours. That's the APS high school graduation requirement for service, for, community service. And now, but it can overlap in junior and senior year, but not necessarily in 9th and 10th grade. So let's say, for example, if you did 25 hours of community service in 9th and 10th grade, and then you did 50 while in the CP, you've met the whole 75 and you're good. But let's say if you did 50 hours of community service in 9th and 10th grade, you would still need an additional 50 in 11th and 12th grade to meet that IBSL service learning requirement. So that's kind of how that works. So it doesn't overlap in 9th and 10th grade, but it does overlap in terms of the graduation requirement and the IB requirement in 11th and 12th grade. But either way, around March or so, we print this report, send it to the counselors, and that's how they have that information for you. So that's that. Now, let's see if anything else. So that's pretty much the gist of it. This is just basic information, let you know, what's been completed and what's not. And that's that. So now we'll take a look at language development. So I'm gonna go back to the Maynard Jackson website. And just FYI, I think I'm gonna show you this also. If you want to get to it without going through the school, if you just type in MJHS IB, it'll still be the first option here. So that's another way to get to the website as well, just so you know. Now, if you click on, let's go back to created program, and then let's scroll down to language development. So basically what that means is for the CP, they require that the students have about 50 hours of additional exposure to a language, not necessarily a class per se, and it's outside of your world language class. So if you're taking IB French or IB Spanish, or even just plain old French and Spanish, and you, or Chinese even, and you do have exposure to German outside of that, or or additional Spanish outside of that, that's part of this portfolio. Now, our primary way to record that is going to be through Duolingo, and the link is here for that. So, and there's a guide here as well, which gets into deep detail, which you may or may not want to take a deep dive into, but Duolingo is the primary way to record this. So I'm gonna go to my Duolingo here, just so you can kind of get an idea, because I have an account set. This is my account set up. So, and it has CP class 2022 and 2023. And I would need for you to join that class. And then basically we would just keep track of your hours on that app. And that's all it is. So over the course of 2 years between junior and senior year, well, if you're 11th grade now, it'll be from now till the end of the school year. I mean, of your senior year. If you are a senior now, we're kind of looking at, all this year and whatever you've done last year to count for that. So you can just take a picture of this or screenshot it, or the best way to now probably attach it into the email that you receive this video in. But that's how you would join. That's the code for the class of 2022. So that's our current seniors. You'll put in this code, join the class, link up your Duolingo, and I should be able to see what you have what you've done, like, as you go along, see how many hours you've accumulated. So that's 2022. For 2023, which are the juniors right now, or year one, this is the code for you all. I'll make it larger so you can see it all, but same thing. So this is the code for 2023 to join. So we'd like for you to join that as soon as you can. And then you can just start keeping those hours, keeping up that Duolingo time. Now, that's just one part of it. That is if we, that's just the generic way to record the exposure. You're not saying you're not taking a class. It's just you're exposed to another language. It can be the same language you're taking, but it does not have to be. Now, for some people, let's say, for example, if you traveled abroad, or if you were in an immersion program where you were just immersed into the language, those kind of situations would count as well. So there's more than one thing you can do for that language piece. Duolingo is just the basic, simple way. But if you have a situation like that, then you would go to language, the same part in manage back, click on portfolio here, and then you would just add a resource, and it has like a little journal entry about, when I went to Spain, we stayed at such and such place, and I had to learn the language and order the food and do such and such. That's the journal entry, and that counts also. If you want to have a file, you can add maybe a little video you put together, maybe a website, all these, some photos. These are all the things that illustrate what are other ways you were exposed to the language besides just Duolingo. So these all accumulate as well. So the whole goal is to have 50 hours of that service and 50 hours of the language development piece too, outside of your class. So I know it sounds like a lot, but like I said, just think about the things you've done already, how you've been exposed to these things already, and it shouldn't be too difficult over the course of all of this time. Like I said, it's not due right now. It's by the end of your senior year, but we will check periodically on these things. So as time goes by, we will go to Manage Back and Duolingo and kind of check in and see how you're doing on these things, just to make sure you're kind of on the right path, so you won't be caught at the very, very end of the semester with so much, or the end of school year of your senior year with so much to do with exams and graduation and all kind of other stuff going on. Now, for that service piece, just so you know, there's a lot of things that are in-house, a lot of clubs, organizations at the school that do a lot of different service projects. So don't feel like you have to make up something yourself all the time. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. So there's the SGA, the Beta Club, Model UN, Academic Decathlon. There's exchange. We had a German exchange program that might be coming back shortly, I believe. National Honor Society, the Black Student Union, Student Demand Action. There's a rooftop garden. You can work on a rooftop garden. It's just a variety of the Gay Straight Alliance. It's a National Art Society, the Green Warriors, like who deal with ecology or being ecologically friendly and that kind of thing. So there's a lot of options to do even within the school. So there's no dearth of activities to be involved in. So if you have any questions about any of this, I'm Dr. King. My information is here. This is my number in the school, my office, and my cell phone number. So anything pertaining to DP, a diploma program, CP, the career related program, or even AP, you feel free to reach out. And also for our 9th and 10th graders that are just getting into IB or getting into the school and kind of, I guess determining whether they're going to do DP or CP, Miss Ross is the contact for that. And she's also over gifted and the personal project and those things as well. But yeah, so if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you for your time and be safe.